Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Amanda's Table, where anyone can learn to bake impressive desserts. Today, we'll be making a cinnamon roll, but with a twist. If you like today's bake, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave comments. So for today's ingredients, it includes 5½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup of sugar, granulated, 2 teaspoons of salt, kosher, 4½ teaspoons of dry yeast, 1 whole cup of whole milk, 1/2 cup of water, 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. You're going to have to cut 2 tablespoons off that stick, so it's not a whole stick. And then 2 eggs, whole, large. Okay, so we're going to take our milk, our water, and our butter, put it on a medium flame, and we're going to just warm it up. I don't need it too hot. I just want it maybe a little, about lukewarm. You can still stick your finger in there, but the butter is melted. So there's our milk, there's our water. We'll take our 6 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to put that in. And we're just going to get it to where the butter is melted and it's warm. So do not bring this to a boil. Okay, I'm going to take the melted butter and milk and water that we heated up. Again, not too hot. I can't emphasize that enough. Otherwise, it will not work. You'll kill your yeast. We're going to add our yeast to this. Get it all mixed in there. I use a fork. It's easier, I think. And then the sugar is really the important part because that's what's going to feed the yeast. We'll add that in there. And stir that around. We'll let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes. And you're going to start seeing it get frothy and bubbly, and that's what you're really looking for. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to start adding the ingredients. I'm going to go take the nice frothy mix that we have here, getting it all out of this bowl. Just putting it into a bigger bowl because we're going to have a big ball of dough in just a second. And I'm going to, first of all, make sure that this all gets out. All right. This came out pretty good, actually. All right, so I'm going to start by adding an egg. Actually, both of them. We'll mix that around a little bit with a fork. And then I'm going to just gradually add some flour in there. It's going to be pasty at first. I like to use a fork when I mix doughs at first until like it gets to the point where you're going to need it. Work it in gradually. Then we'll add our salt the last minute. The salt is what kills the yeast. So I don't want to add it too soon because I still want that yeast really active. I'll pour a little bit more in here now. Okay. It's getting thicker. adding flour. Pretty soon it'll be too thick to kind of stir it with a fork. So then we'll start kneading in the flour with our hands, and I'll just literally pour it out onto the countertop at that point. Okay, this is where I'm going to add my salt. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to take the rest of this flour, pour it in there. And this is where you get to get messy. Okay, so I got the dough mixed as much as I could with a fork. I'm going to pour it out now onto the countertop. Get that all the flour out of there, all the dough, as much as you can. It's all going to start pulling together in just a second. And I have just a little bit of flour extra on the side just in case. We'll feel the dough to see if it's too wet. If it's too wet, it's going to stick to the countertop. You want it not too dry, but not too wet either. And use like this part of your hand to kind of push the dough. This is the most therapeutic part for this. For me, I love this part. See how it's starting to come together? I love this part. I don't know. It doesn't look like we're going to need any more flour. We'll see. We're going to keep kneading this for a little bit more. Few more minutes, get some aggression out. You're angry at somebody at work. This is what I do. Slap it around a little bit. Alright. Actually, I don't think I'm going to need any more flour at all. It actually looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of just olive oil, scrap the top, put a little bit on a paper towel, like that, dab it, and then I'm just going to go around the bowl so that when we put in our dough ball, it's going to have a nice smooth surface to freely grow for the next hour or two. So we'll take our ball of dough, drop it in the bottom, and take our plastic wrap and put it on top. And I'm going to set it right next to the stovetop. You don't have any flames on, just the heat from the pilot on the stove will be warm enough. You'll make sure your house is not too cold, and then we'll let it rise. Okay, so we have let our dough rise for a couple of hours now, so I get to unwrap it. It's really nice, at least doubled in size. So I'm gonna flour the tabletop a little bit here, just a little bit, and I will pour that out. And we will knead it a little bit. Looks really good. Okay. And then we're going to roll it out. It's really nice consistency, really soft. get it into a nice little ball here. And then we are ready to roll it out. So we'll go one direction, we'll twist. We'll keep doing that until it gets maybe about a 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 an inch thick. Okay, so we rolled out the dough nice and thin, I would say about a 1/4 inch thick. And with our bowl that we had already, we're going to just flip it over, and I'm going to cut out the same shape a few times here, kind of like a cookie cutter. So I'm just going to go around the bowl with a knife, and that'll be our shape that we want. And we're going to get a few of these. We've got 4 circles out of our dough. We put one on our sheet tray here. You can put parchment paper on the bottom. I just have a Silpat. I love them. I'm going to make a mixture of regular sugar, granulated, a light brown sugar, and some cinnamon. And I don't have any particular measurements. It's just really to taste. It's going to be the filling. So I'll do a 1/2 cup of each. Right now. And then we'll do about, say, 2 teaspoons of the cinnamon. I really like it cinnamony. I'll mix that up. And then we are going to spread this butter, just softened butter, room temperature. And we're going to spread it on each layer. And I wouldn't go all the way out to the edge, because when you bake it, it's going to kind of melt and seep out the sides. So kind of like a pizza, you want to leave the outer edge for the crust. The butter and the brown sugar and the cinnamon will get out there. So just like a thin layer of butter on each one. We will make sure that we put together. And it'll just kind of go like this. Mix it all up. I'm going to get in there with my hand so I can break up all those little little bunches of brown sugar. Okay, so it's like a sandy consistency. And then I'm just going to sprinkle it on the layer. And then I will add another layer of dough and repeat. So I just have a simple circle cutter. We're going to put that into the middle and press down just a little bit so it indents. Just do a little bit more. Okay. And then we are going to make 16 equal pieces. And we're just going to cut. So I'll start, and we're going to go from the center. I'm just going to spin it. I'll do this side. Spin it. So I have the 4 equal parts right now. Okay, so we're going to take 2 of the pieces. We got 16 pieces, right? We're gonna take 2 of the pieces and we're gonna twist them away from each other twice. And then we're going to pinch them together, because that is going to be one of our twists. And then we'll rotate. 1, 2, pinch. 1, 2, pinch. 1, 2, pinch. And so we're going to go all the way around, and then we're going to let it sit for about 15 minutes while our oven preheats at 375, and then we'll stick it in. Okay, so here's our star twist or cinnamon twist that you want, whatever you want to call it. We'll put that in the oven at 375. We'll keep an eye on it, but I'm guessing it'll probably take at least 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, it is ready, and we are going to take out our twist. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, so just for the frosting is our final touch. I took a cup of powdered sugar, and we're going to add a little bit of vanilla, 1 teaspoon. So I used the Halela pure vanilla extract. So I'll just open this. I will put in a teaspoon. That'll give it a nice flavor. And then we're gonna take 2 tablespoons of whole milk and add that. And we'll just stir. You can just drizzle it on with a spoon, or I get these little bags from wish.com. They're just like $1, $2, whatever. They're really inexpensive throwaway pastry bags. I'll fill it up and then just cut off the tip of it, and then that way I can squeeze it on. But again, you can just literally take the spoon and drizzle it on yourself. And let that get all those chunks out so it's nice and smooth. Okay, so I have the piping bag folded over a glass, doesn't matter, cup. Get it all in there. Just easy, so you can use both your hands. Okay, so it's only you in the kitchen. So then all you gotta do is pull it up, twist it, take a pair of scissors, cut off the tip of it, and squeeze a little bit out. And then I'm just gonna go in a zigzag motion. And then I will go back the other way. All right, I'm going to go at a diagonal now. Make sure you get all the way out to those edges. I'm going to go one more time around. And this is done. This is ready for guests to eat. Hope you enjoy.